A very good evening to all our respected leaders, fellow JCs, and dear participants joining us from across the country. India is a living expression of diversity, every state carrying its own identity, rhythm, and strength. Some regions are known for their pace of growth, some for their historical depth, while others have a lasting impression through their way of life and values. Today, we turn our attention to Mizoram, a place admired for its discipline, close knit communities, and serene natural beauty. Here, life reflects balance, respect, and a deep connection between people and their surroundings. Welcome to another meaningful chapter of India Incredible, the story of real India. Today's focus Mizoram Harmony in the Hills. Mizoram offers a powerful example of how values shape society. With Aizawl perched gracefully on hilltops, the state presents a unique blend of natural beauty and organized living. The essence of Mizoram lies in its people and traditions. The guiding principle of Tlaman Gaina, a deeply respected value that emphasizes selflessness, discipline, and service to others. Festivals like Chapchar Kut, which celebrate community spirit, culture, and seasonal change. A society known for cleanliness, civic sense, and strong social responsibility. One of India's highest literacy rates, reflecting its commitment to education, a peaceful environment where coordination and respect define everyday life. Mizoram also stands out for its remarkable social harmony, where community support systems function naturally and effectively. Strong societies are built through shared responsibility, respect, and consistent values. To guide us through today's session, we are delighted to have a dynamic leader whose journey reflects passion, growth, and commitment. Our facilitator this evening is a dedicated professional and an inspiring JC who continues to make a strong impact. Her journey includes practicing chartered accountant with over 5 years of experience, proprietor of Jain Puja and Associates, joined JCI in 2020 as charter president of JCI Guwahati Pathfinders, recognized as outstanding new energetic president at Midcon, served in multiple leadership roles, including Zone Vice President 2024, and currently serving as Zone Secretary 2026. Her training and development achievements include outstanding participant in Speechcraft 2023, ZTWS qualified provisional zone trainer, recognized at Officers Training Seminar 2024 Kochi. She is known for her energy, consistency, and people first approach, inspiring others to grow and lead with purpose. Please join me in welcoming JFM CA Pooja Jain. Ma'am, on behalf of JCI Tripurayar and the India Incredible team, it is our privilege to invite you to lead today's session on Mizoram Harmony in the Hills. We look forward to your insights and perspective. The platform is yours.
Thank you so much, Siteshji. Good evening, everyone. Before we move ahead, I would request all of you to switch on your cameras. I also want to see your beautiful faces with beautiful smile. Okay. So before we begin, I have a small request. Just close your eyes for 5 seconds. Now imagine a place where clouds gently touch your face, where people welcome you with warmth, and where life moves slow, peaceful, and beautiful. Now open your eyes. That place, my dear friends, is none other than Mizoram. Today, we are not just going to learn about a state, we are going to experience it together. So now tell me, if I give you a free trip right now, what would you choose? And what matters you to the most when you travel? Is it nature? Is it food? Is it peace? Is it culture? Just type it in the chat box. Don't worry, typing is free unlike the trip.
Food, culture, and peace. Nature.
Yeah. All?
All.
That's great. It's wonderful that it matters to you, that you want to experience the nature, the peace, culture, everything. And then you are at the right place. Because in Mizoram, you'll find everything at one place. So, once again, welcome to Mizoram, a land of mountains, culture, simplicity, and inspiring lives. How many of you have ever been to Northeast India? Quickly type in the chat box if you have ever been to the Northeast India. Okay. How many of you have already attended the 2 sessions we had earlier for Assam and Manipur? I must believe that you already know by that 2 sessions that how beautiful this northeastern region is. And now let's together explore Mizoram, also known as City of Hills. Mizoram is a landlocked state situated in the southern part of Northeast India, as you can see in the map. It covers an area of 21,081 square kilometer, representing approximately 0.64% of India's total geographical area. The state of Mizoram is bounded by states like Tripura, Assam, Manipur. It also shares extensive international borders, which make up about 75% of its total perimeter. It shares 722-kilometer border with Myanmar to the east and south, and a 318-kilometer border with Bangladesh to the west. The state is characterized by rugged, steep hill ranges and deep interspersed valleys. It is often called as the land of hill people or the land of blue mountains. It is the second smallest state in India by population, approx 12 lakhs after Sikkim. So now let's get back to the history. The Mizoram we see today as Indian state was once just a small district in Lushai Hills. This district used to be within the state of Assam. On June 30, 1987, Mizoram, which had a history of 30 years of violence, came to a halt, and what was once a small district became an important state of India. A state is not formed just like that. The story of Mizoram becoming a state is not a simple sentence. Instead, it's a story of struggle spanning 30 years, a struggle that involved famine, conspiracies to separate from the country, and the darker chapter of bombing a state. How many of you have already known about this history that Mizoram was not a state earlier? Do you know? Today, I'll tell you what were the circumstances that led to Mizoram achieving statehood. Why Indira Gandhi had to drop bombs in Mizoram. So, are you all ready to know the history? The story of Mizoram becoming a state began in 1958 when a bamboo flower bloomed. In our country, the blooming of flowers is considered auspicious. But the blooming of these flowers in the Lushai Hills was an invitation to destruction. In the northeastern states of India, there was belief for years that whenever bamboo flowers bloomed, raids would destroy all the crops and the famine would strike the state. Every 48 years, these flowers bloomed in the Lushai Hills and brought devastation. Even in 1862, 1911, these flowers have brought destructions with them. On October 29, 1958, flowers bloomed again. These flowers laid the foundation of making Mizoram a separate state. Just a simple bamboo flower had created a history of creating a district into a state. In 1958, when flowers bloomed in Lushai Hills, the people here appealed to the Assam government for help. But the Assam government said it was superstition and refused to provide any funds. The people were afraid. Nevertheless, flowers bloomed across the entire district. And then the problem started. Subsequently, the rats attacks left the people of Mizoram starving. Meanwhile, instead of helping the people, the government did not do its basic duty. When you are thirsty, a cup of coffee will not work. You will need water, right? Instead of helping, the Assam government launched scheme to catch rats. That is, you catch rat and get 40 pies in return. This was no solution to the problem. Therefore, the people of Mizoram became angry with the government. They formed a front to oppose the government, the Mizo National Famine Front, MNF. Lal Denga was the leader of the MNF. Lal Denga started protest by sitting in dharna. In 1964, something happened that changed the situation in Mizoram. In 1964, the Assam Regiment disbanded as a regiment of Indian Army. Most of the people were from Mizoram in the Indian Army. Angry with the development, these left their regiment and joined. These people left their regiment and joined the MNF. Their journey marked the beginning of the MNF raising arms. If you look at the Mizoram map, you will find that it is connected to Eastern Pakistan and China. Eastern Pakistan, now known as Bangladesh. They provided the Eastern Pakistan and China provided and helped Mizoram a lot. They supported with money and weapons. This initiated violence in Mizoram. When the Indian army retaliated, these people infiltrated Burma and Pakistan. In the meantime, war broke out between India and Pakistan in the year 1965. And taking advantage of this opportunity, the MNF wrote a letter to the then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri. There was an ultimatum in this letter. India had to decide how it deal with Mizoram. However, during the war, the letter did not receive much attention. And in 1966, with the end of the war, Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri also died. After this, something happened that shook the entire country. On February 28, 1966, the MNF launched Operation Jericho. In this operation, at 10:30 p.m., thousands of MNF members attacked the BSF and Assam Rifles and took control of the telephone exchange. Due to this operation, Mizoram separated from India. During this time, the Mizo rebels also took over the government departments. On March 1, 1966, it was announced that India had failed to govern Mizoram. And this is where the announcement is made, an independent Mizoram. A district that has now become an independent country. At the time, Indira Gandhi had already become the PM, Prime Minister. This was the huge challenge for her as well. Nothing major happened in the Mizoram for the next 3 days. But within these 3 days, the Indian army got ready. However, the army was unable to move India forward. Then on March 5th, Indian Air Force planes started flying over Aizawl, the capital of Mizoram. Suddenly, firing and bombing started and Aizawl was destroyed. 13 people were killed in this attack. After this, the operation continued until March 13, and it was thought that everything would be fine. However, instead of that, the people became angry. The government said that they had not sent bombs. Instead, they had sent the ration for the people. So the people showed them the evidence. Anyway, this operation gave the chance to Indian army to work quickly. The army took over the entire area of Aizawl and sealed the border so that China and Pakistan could not help. Along with this, the MNF was also banned. After this, MNF rebels had to take refuge in the Burma and Eastern Pakistan, now known as Bangladesh. MNF leader Lal Denga also reached Eastern Pakistan at that time. And after the war, he had to flee from Pakistan too and he reached London. Meanwhile, to suppress the rebellion, the central government handed over the responsibility of correcting the situation to General Sam Manekshaw. Sam was an expert in this work. He knew that to suppress the rebellion, local support was needed. He made a plan. There were 764 villages in the Mizoram. He evacuated 516 villages and settled them in new places. He gave them new ID numbers and tried to ensure that there was no attack on the people and the people could not conspire against each other. By 1970, the rebellion had been suppressed. In 1980, everything was fine, but the real problem was yet to come. Around 1980, Lal Denga started negotiations with India. Indira Gandhi was still the Prime Minister at this time, and she put forward two conditions. The first, to surrender the MNF, and the second was that any understanding or deal that would be made would be according to Indian Constitution. On October 31, 1984, Lal Denga and Indira Gandhi were to meet. But on the same day, Indira Gandhi was shot dead by her bodyguard. After her death, Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister, and then negotiations started again from September 1985. And in October 1985, news broke that 750 MNF rebels have surrendered. Then on 30th June 1986, an historic Mizoram peace accord was reached between the central government and MNF. This accord is considered one of the Rajiv Gandhi's government greatest achievements. In 1987, Mizoram was granted the status of a separate state. That same year, the first elections were held in Mizoram, and Lal Denga became the first chief minister of Mizoram. So friends, this was the story of how Mizoram went from being a district to declaring itself a separate country due to a rebellion, and now it's a state of India. From a conflict to peace, from a district to a state. Mizoram's journey teaches us one thing: strong values and unity can transform even the toughest situation. And finally, so on 20th February every year, Mizoram celebrates its Foundation Day. Did this story give you any excitement how a district can become a separate country and now it enjoys being a state, a beautiful state of Northeast? Did you all ever imagine this can also happen? I also wondered, and I also thought the same until I read this story. Mizoram has the highest literacy rate in India as of 2025. I have a quick question for you all. Is literacy just about education, or is it about how we behave as responsible citizens? Please dive in on the chat box and write your answers. Is literacy just about education, or is it about how we behave as responsible citizens?
How we behave as responsible citizens.
Application of knowledge, a bit of both. How we behave as citizen. Yes, you are absolutely right. Because Mizoram doesn't just have highest literacy rate in numbers in education, but when you look at Mizoram, you notice something very different. Here in Mizoram, people follow traffic rules even without police. There is hardly any unnecessary honking. People stand in queue patiently, though they don't try to overtake or rush in traffic. Public places are clean because people don't litter. There is a strong sense of respect for others. Even small rules are followed seriously. And that's when we realize literacy is just not about reading and writing. It is reflected in our daily behavior. And when you visit Mizoram, you will see each people carrying this behavior in their daily life. Their discipline, their responsibility, and their civic sense make them really educated. If I tell you, in your city, if there is no one watching, if there is no government, if there is no rules, will people follow rules? We will not. But Mizoram is different. That is why it is said that different cities are always least explored. So it's not just literate in education, but in their discipline, It's literate, highly literate in their discipline, their responsibility, and their civic sense. We have known how beautiful Mizoram is. It's completely surrounded by hills. But how will you reach Mizoram? You can reach Mizoram via road or rail or by air. By road, you can travel from Guwahati. You can hire private taxis. There are overnight buses also. It will take 15 to 18 hours for you to reach the capital city, which is, what is the capital city of Mizoram?
Aizawl.
Yes. So to reach the capital city from Guwahati, it will take 15 to 18 hours. By rail, so by in the year 2025, Mizoram is also connected with the Indian Railway, and you can reach by rail also. You have to first reach to Guwahati and take a train to Sairang station, and from that you can reach, and from that Sairang station, the capital city is just 20 kilometers away. And by air, always it's the fastest route. It has direct flights from Kolkata, Delhi, Guwahati. Or if you are coming from any other city, you have to reach Guwahati first and then take a flight to Aizawl. You will end at a Langpoi airport, and from where you can travel to the capital city, Aizawl, which is just 32 kilometers away. But to visit Mizoram, I have some pro tips for you all. Make your inner line permit, ILP. It can be made online or on arrival. It is mandatory for all the people except the government officials and their family. Once you reach the station or the airport, you need to book prepaid or shared taxis to reach the city. Even though it is just 20 kilometers from the station or 32 kilometers from the airport, it will take approximately 1 to 1.5 hours to reach the capital city because of the hilly terrain. So, this is how you reach Mizoram. Now, the top tourist places in Mizoram. First, since we have already landed at the capital city Aizawl, let's explore the capital city, which is also known for its scenic beauty. First, the Salmon's Temple. It's a white marble church. Then, to know the history more, visit the Mizoram State Museum. And as already Sitesh sir mentioned in his opening, that Mizoram is known for its nature, scenic beauties. Visit Wantok Falls, the highest and most spectacular waterfall in Mizoram, India. It is located at the Serchhip district near the town of Thenzawl, and it plunges from a height of approximately 750 feet, approximately 229 to 230 meters, into a lush green gorge. Then don't forget to visit Champai. It is the most beautiful district of Mizoram, and if you visit in October, you will witness colorful cosmos across the Champai district. It is also known as the Rice Bowl of Mizoram, and you'll find rice forest everywhere in the Champai district. Then, Blue Mountain National Park. You can see in the image how beautiful it is looking, and the view is breathtaking. And if you love trekking, I hope everyone is ready to do a trek for a beautiful sunrise view when you visit Mizoram. I hope a small trek of one hour or 1.5 hours can be done to see the breathtaking sunrise, witness the breathtaking sunrise of Mizoram from the Riaktlang. It's a mountain peak and a must-visit destination in Mizoram, standing at an elevation of 1548 meters. It is just 30 kilometers away from the capital city Aizawl, and it is famous for its breathtaking panoramic views. And as I already mentioned, that Mizoram shares its boundary with Myanmar. So when it is allowed and you visit Indo-Myanmar border, don't forget to visit Reedil Lake, a natural heart-shaped lake situated at the Chin state of Myanmar. It is the largest lake of Mizoram. You can hire rapidos, bikes, taxis to see the Indo-Myanmar border and visit this lake. So I don't know, but I have compiled a 7-day itinerary plan for you all if you plan to visit Mizoram. So day 1, you can reach Aizawl, the capital city. You can check into a stay, spend the day resting, and then enjoy the city vibes. Don't forget to go local shopping. Day 2, enjoy city's major attractions. As I already mentioned, Solomon's Temple, Bara Bazaar, as all of us love shopping. And then go for cafe hopping, cafes, and later in the evening, enjoy the breathtaking sunset view from the city. At day 3, you have to wake up at 3 a.m. to witness the beautiful sunrise, as I already mentioned, which you have to go for trekking. And after enjoying the view, the sunrise, come and take rest. On day 4, check out from Aizawl, head to Champai State. It will be 5 to 6 hour journey from Aizawl and explore the local village. On day 5, visit wineries in Champai, wine tasting, viewpoints, and later in the evening come back to Aizawl. On day 6, start your day early morning, and from Aizawl to you visit to Thanzol and Salsuk. Salsuk has been awarded the best tourism village in 2024, and it has beautiful waterfalls. And don't forget to try miso food. And on day 7, say goodbye to Mizoram with heart full of memories and back to home. So, traditional miso dress. Isn't it looking so beautiful, so simple and elegant? So, Mizo people always believe in simplicity and not showing off. They live their life not running like a rat, but at a slow, but yet enjoys the most. The woman in the Mizoram wears a puan, a wraparound skirt, and karche, handmade blouse with cotton or silk embroidery. And at the head, they wear a wakira, which has parrot feathers, porcupine quills, and beetle wings. And tihina, amber beaded necklace. And male wear puan, long cloth wrapped around the waist, and a white or red embroidered coats. And they also wear a turban with feathers for chiefs or heroes. So now, how many of you love trying different foods when you visit different states? I hope everyone enjoys food. So the signature dishes of Mizoram is Bai. It's the most iconic miso dish with a versatile vegetable stew made by boiling seasonal greens with bamboo shoots and often flavored with saum or bekam. Sochiar, the most iconic miso dish. Sanpiao, a popular rice porridge street food topped with coriander paste, spring onions, black pepper, and fish sauce if you love non-vegetarian food. Chumha, a healthy side of mixed vegetables like cabbage, carrots, or broccoli that are simply steamed or boiled. As I already mentioned, they don't like show off. They only believe in living a simple life with less oily food, less spices, but yet tasty food. Bhuban Chum, a famous sticky rice of Mizoram. And as it was mentioned in the itinerary of day 6, don't miss this miso chow, the miso thali, which tastes delicious according to the people who have visited there. How many of you know about this bamboo dance? Have you ever witnessed this bamboo dance earlier? This is the traditional cultural dance of Mizoram. Have you ever witnessed it? Have you ever seen it? Have you ever heard about it? Okay, so we'll witness it, we'll see it together. Now, What was your first thought when you saw this dance? What was your first thought when you saw this beautiful dance?
Unique.
Unique.
This is a beautiful dance.
Beautiful dance of Mizoram.
Wow, how
Also,
they manage not to get
I
in the bamboo.
yes. This is also known as Chirao dance and is one of the oldest and most famous traditional dance of Mizoram. It was originally performed during festivals and special occasions to celebrate life events and community bonding. Why bamboo? Because this is the most and most easily found and very natural for the Mizo people. It is easily available and is a part of their daily life. What makes Mizo people unique, they beautifully turned something which was easily available, which was so simple, into an art form. The bamboo dance represents coordination, rhythm, and teamwork. Each dancer has to move with perfect timing between the bamboos, between the moving sticks. And that's what the learning we can have from this. Just like in this dance, life also needs the right timing, focus, and coordination. One wrong step and you face challenges. So, the bamboo dance is not just a dance, it's not just a performance, it is a reflection of discipline, culture, and harmony. Sports loved by Mizo people. Have you any idea what sports is loved by the Mizo people? Which sport?
Football.
Yes, absolutely. I think Siteshji has done his homework while organizing this session. Yes, it is football. Football is the most loved sport in Mizoram and is deeply embedded in the local culture. Often called the football capital of Northeast India, Mizoram produces a huge number of professional players for the Indian Super League and the national team. These two people are the footballers from Mizoram have been awarded at AIFF Awards in the year 23-24. Changte and Deving Lalhangsa. Changte was awarded as the best player of the year, while Lalhangsanga received the Promising Player of the Year award in the year 23-24. Isn't it great? We often feel that these states have no talents, but they are shining on the national stage, just that we are not aware. From looms to markets, women dominates the business in Mizoram. I think this was already known to you, that Mizoram is a predominantly run by women. Did you all know about this?
Yes.
Yes. Mizo women dominate the workplace from government offices to local markets. It's all women running the businesses. Be it be handloom and textiles, food processing, retail and street commerce, agriculture, there are women doing the business. And this is the most beautiful thing about Mizoram. Tualang Haina. Mizo people are widely known for their trust, honest, and discipline. Honesty in commerce. While the shopkeepers run their businesses, they keep products or items sealed at the shop and leave. People come and pay for the same. They take the product and deposit the money in the deposit box and leave. The business runs entirely on the basis of trust. Can we even imagine this in any other parts of the country? Can we just imagine? Because the discipline, the culture is rooted in their blood. High civic sense. As I already mentioned, they don't honk on the road. Did you know Aizawl is the first city of India with no honking sound? There is no government policies. There are no rules. Without the official help, it became the first city without honking. And safety. Many visitors, including solo female travelers, report exceptionally safe. They consider Mizoram to be the safest place while traveling. So, visit Mizoram without any fear. The most widely used language in Mizoram is Mizo and English. So, there will be no communication problem when you visit Mizoram. And these are just few highlights that have gathered and presented together. But Mizoram has much more beyond this. So do visit Mizoram and explore the unexplored. We are all waiting to see all of you in Northeast India and explore Mizoram and its values. Thank you so much. Before I end, I want to have answers from you all that what are the lessons we have learned today from Mizoram that we can apply in our daily lives.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much for the insightful and engaging session. You have given us a deeper understanding of Mizoram's value, lifestyle, and the strength of its community. We now invite reflections, questions, or thought from our JC family members. If something inspired you, if you connected with a concept, or if you'd like to share your perspective, feel free to unmute or share in the chat. Your participation enriches the experience for everyone. So I request anyone who has some question or any feedback to just shoot your question or feedback to the facilitator. Ma'am, I had a question.
Yes.
You are a chartered accountant.
Yes.
Basically, can you throw some light on the business that takes place in Mizoram? Type of businesses or the commerce part of it?
Yes, definitely. So Mizoram is predominantly known for its handloom and textile businesses, but it has growing economy and people are coming up with a lot of startup ideas in Mizoram, handloom industries, and many more.
And tourism
Yeah,
also, right?
tourism is also a part. Basically, it's predominantly the handloom and textile industry and the
Spices, tea,
sorry.
Is it spices, tea?
Yeah, Mizoram is also known for spices like cinnamon and this, and they generally produce bamboos, pineapple, because agriculture is one of the important part of the culture.
Right, right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am. Wonderful session. Without paying for an air ticket, we really took a trip to Mizoram and came back. It's wonderful, but yeah, that's in my bucket list, visiting Mizoram. Definitely. Beautiful,
Definitely.
beautiful place.
We'll be
And the takeaway was the honesty and the culture which you told me about Mizoram. I mean, it's spectacular, leaving the shop open with the goods and people just coming and buying it and going. That's wonderful. Yeah, we could inculcate it here too. Let's see. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. We'll be waiting for you in Northeast.
Yeah.
We're ready to host you. And before leaving, it's just one takeaway, as Nirmala ma'am already said. Let's inculcate these small habits in our daily life. From one person, it can go and it can reach bigger audience. So at least we can start being honest to ourselves so that others around us will do the same.
Correct. And you're welcome to Kerala any day. We can host
Definitely,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Again, very good evening to one and all present in this house. I have been a part of this incredible journey, but today I was not able to hear the entire session. On and off, there was a network error in my area. But whatever I have heard, I've been a part of this incredible Northeast from our incredible India. But the way my very dear friend and a very amazing personality and a trainer from Zone 25, Pooja ji, have explained us, it's really beyond my imagination. Though I've been a part of Northeast, but there are so many places still in my bucket list that I need to visit. And yes, it's beautiful Mizoram. So along with Pooja ji, I invite everyone that please do come to this beautiful place and we are ready to host you. Over to Chairman.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, any JCI presence in Mizoram?
As of now, there is no JCI LO in Mizoram, but soon we'll be having one.
Right. Ma'am, I had a question. It's not meant to be offensive or controversial. I think Sonia ma'am and even Tinat ma'am can join in to answer if possible. Sometimes people from the Northeast face misunderstandings or stereotypes in other parts of India, like they're called names and they're disrespected. What has been your experience and how can we bridge this gap? And how do people in Northeast look at the people from other parts of India? Basically, I wanted to ask because Mizoram is an English speaking state also. So we see a lot of discrimination when people from Northeast come here and work. So what is the overall mood there and how do people react to these sort of things? I just want to understand your perspective.
So, when as you asked, ki, how can we bridge the gap? I think it's just lack of awareness. People are not aware how people are there in this northeastern states. They are still believing the old thinking. They are carrying the old values, thinking about the northeastern people. So first of all, we have to create awareness, just like what you are doing. I think the other people present in this meeting, in these sessions, were also not aware about the Mizoram and how we treat people. As I already mentioned, that Northeast is a people country, a people state, people region. It's we believe people, as it is said in Hindi, Atithi Devo Bhava. Northeastern people believes in that. They will greet you, they will treat you with open heart.
Sonia ma'am, you want to add anything? I would love to hear your perspective also. Teenat ma'am also, if
Okay,
you can
okay.
add,
Thank you,
join.
sir, for adding me also to this session. Sir, I feel it's the physical features, is it's a cultural lack of cultural engagements. I would say it's only that cultural misunderstanding in the features that people are really still having that perception. But yes, we are changing with the times. Now, India and the people of India are not looking north as people in that way. In the earlier days, they used to do. It's just that nowadays that we are, yes, coming up, we are moving forward, we are educating them calmly. And also at the same time, if there is something that is misunderstood regarding the cultural awareness and all, but still we are building that at the same time. So I think with the time, with the experience, with the knowledge, with the awareness, and most importantly, with the belief that yes, we are one, we are India, we are one. So yes, that we can move ahead. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Teenat ma'am, you want to add something?
Yes, thank you so much, sir, for this beautiful program. In fact, this particular presentation was wonderful, JC Sonia, and I really loved it because there are many things. In fact, I have not visited Mizoram. I would really like to go to Mizoram, and you have hit on some beautiful points, and especially the honking. I am known as a self-styled policeman in Guwahati because I make sure that people are parking their cars properly and everything. But so when she spoke about honking, I keep promoting Mizoram in a big way because I keep saying that this is one state with the highest literacy, with one of the highest literacies. Kerala also comes in there as a literate state, but it does. It's a very quiet state, and I would really like to appreciate JC Sonia for bringing in all the elements of Mizoram. I loved hearing what she was saying. I loved seeing her presentation. And regarding bridging the gap, so I feel that there should be more knowledge about the Northeast. We are from the Mongoloid stock, so we look different. And when people come and tell us Chinese, Momo, and all these different words, then it hurts. It really hurts. I'm not. I haven't been told that as yet because I don't look like someone from here. But but I seriously think that they get hurt when we start we have to keep saying justice for someone or justice for the other. It really hurts. And I, as a very strong advocate and a very strong supporter from the Northeast, I would like to say that to a request to all the other people across the country, please study about our Northeast. It's a beautiful place. We have we have beautiful people, and like JC Sonia was saying, it is Atithi Deva Bhava. Please come, see our place, love this place, stay here, fall in love with everything that we have here, and we always welcome you with open arms and with a very big open heart. Thank you for letting me say this.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think programs like these give an opportunity to interact and break these stereotypes and understand each other in a better way. So I would like to thank all three of you. You didn't take offense to the question and you answered it beautifully. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. It was a great presentation by Pooja, my younger sister. Uh, like, I'm so happy looking. I'm so happy about this initiative. First of all, I have personally congratulated Siddesh ji also. I think like this is an amazing initiative from your end, and to know far off places. Like for us, it is not far off places, but for the others, because I think in last 11 or 12 years, Northeast has started coming into the mainstream media. Otherwise, we were the forgotten section of India. Well, I'm sorry to say this, but it is a reality. So I'm so happy, and initiatives like this, they will only boost the brotherhood, and initiatives like this are going to give more power to being actually one. So amazing presentation, and again congratulations Hitesh ji, there's a great initiative.
Thank you, Poonam ji. You said it beautifully. I would like to mention this edit training, Meenakshi ma'am, for connecting all the wonderful speakers. Uh, I think we have covered Northeast in one stretch, so that's beautiful, and it shows how much receptive the region is and the leaders are. So thank you so much. Please convey my regards to Meenakshi ji also.
Sure thing, sure thing.
So, thank you so much, Pooja ma'am. It was a nice presentation. We loved about Mizoram. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anjali. Ma'am, before we close, do you have anything to say,
Can I just
Pooja
make
ma'am?
a correction here? Can I just make a correction here?
Sure,
I
sure,
said
sure.
JC Sonia. It has to be JC Pooja actually.
Yeah.
JC Pooja presented it very well. My apologies. I'm very ashamed of this that I said JC Sonia, but it's JC Pooja who presented it very, very well. Thank you so much. Thank you, and sorry for
Thank
that faux pas I made. Sorry.
No,
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Pooja ma'am, would you like to say anything?
I would just like to congratulate you and thank you for bringing this initiative. This is amazing. Actually, while researching, I got to know a lot of things about Mizoram and Northeast. And thank you for bringing me close to the area where I live and to connect. And as everyone said, it will enhance, it will increase the brotherhood of among the people, and it will start, as you asked, how we can bridge the gap. It will start with the conscious practice like this, which will boost the cordial relations, the cordial things among people from northeastern regions to other areas of India. Thank you so much. Congratulations for the beautiful initiative.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful feedbacks and questions. As we reflect on today's session, one message stands out clearly. A nation's strength is shaped by how its people think, live, and support one another. Mizoram teaches us that discipline creates harmony, values guide everyday's actions, community support strengthens society, and simplicity brings clarity and balance. These lessons go beyond geography, they are principles of leadership and life. May I now invite JC Samira to deliver the vote of thanks.
It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for today's insightful and engaging session. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to JFM CA Pooja Jain ma'am for delivering a wonderful session on Mizoram Harmony in the Hills. Ma'am, your clarity, energy, and perspective helped us truly understand the essence and values of this beautiful state. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our program director, HGF Anjali Manoj, for her excellent coordination and seamless execution of today's program. A special note of thanks to VP Training JFM Manoj Kunath for his guidance and continuous support in making this learning platform impactful. My gratitude also goes to Secretary JC Anjali Hari for her efficient administration, Treasurer JC Srijit Chandran for his support and coordination. And now, with great respect, I would like to acknowledge our dynamic and inspiring President JC Siddesh Shashidharan. Sir, your leadership, vision, and constant motivation are the driving force behind initiatives like India Incredible. Your commitment to creating meaningful learning opportunities truly inspires all of us. Finally, a big thank you to all our participants. Your presence and active involvement made today's session lively and meaningful. As we conclude, let's carry forward the spirit of Mizoram, its unity, discipline, and selfless service into our own lives and leadership journeys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
JC
you all.
Samira. Thank you, JC
Okay.
Samira. As we continue exploring India's diversity, let us remember understanding different cultures strengthens leadership, and strong leadership shapes a better nation. India incredible. Know India. Feel India. Lead India. Jai Hind. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you all. God bless you.